are. Welcome to Bedford Falls, right?
Oh.
At least it looks like that outside today,
sure
doesn't
does.
it?
It does.
It's cold.
My gosh, guys! Even though it's November, winter has come to Michigan.
Sure
But we
has.
couldn't be happier, right?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you know, it makes us appreciate spring and summer.
Because we are celebrating the holiday season here at Farmers Alley Theater. Welcome to Inside the Alley. I will be your host for the next little bit, conversing with three very, very talented performers.
What's your name?
My name is Adam Weiner. I'm the executive director here at Farmers Alley, and today we'll be talking with three of the stars of our production of It's a Wonderful Life,
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
a live radio play. Let me get the whole title out.
That you have to.
so
Yes.
because
You have
that's
to.
the crucial part, the
That's
radio
right.
play.
Yes.
So I will get into that a little bit, but our guests today are Jeremy Koch, Julia Burrows, and Brian Panse. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the
having us.
Thunderdome, right? This room here.
Yes.
That's
It's
right.
very, very cool. We're so hip for this podcast. So, yeah, we're going to chat a little bit about the show and
Excellent.
what makes it so special. And then we have talk about you guys and your careers a little bit. And then we'll play a few games, have a little bit of fun, and get everyone excited for the show in
Yes.
November.
Great.
And this is nice because I don't really have to explain anything about the show, because if you haven't, unless you've been like a time traveler from the past, from before 1946, I guess you should know what It's a Wonderful
should.
Life is.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Yes.
In case you did
There may be
not
some-
know, it's the story of George Bailey and how he can never get out of Bedford Falls.
Pretty much.
My goodness. But, he learns what a wonderful life it is with friends and family. And on one fateful night where he has the decision to maybe give up his greatest gift, right? As
Yes,
one of
right.
the angels says in the beginning of the movie. He is shown by an angel himself what life would be like if he was never born. And that shows him how many lives he touched, how special he is, and he becomes the richest man in town by the end of the show.
No man is a failure who has friends.
That's right. Where they sing Auld Lang Syne, but originally they wanted to do Beethoven's Ode to Joy. Did you know that?
Oh,
I did not.
really?
I
Just
did
a
not.
little bit of fun facts that
Trivia.
we'll talk about a little bit. But let me go down the line here. First, here's a gentleman that many folks in the community know. He is our artistic director. He has been with us since the beginning. He is the yin to my yang. He is the sugar to my coffee. Mr. Jeremy Koch, who is playing George Bailey, Wilde Award winner.
Yes.
Jeremy
This-
Koch.
Yeah.
Wild
I
Award
guess
winner.
that's how I want to be referred to from now on. Thank you
For his
very much.
performance in Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. But you've seen him
What a
in
great show.
many, many other things as well. You're very excited to play this part, aren't you?
I am. I love this movie so much. I love Jimmy Stewart's performance, the direction, the message, and just everything about the film. It's something we watch every year. When I was growing up, we
Yeah.
watched it every year in my family, and I've tried to, impart that on my kids as well. So, very, very honored to fill the shoes of George Bailey.
George Bailey, the great Jimmy Stewart, and that's the only part you were playing, correct?
That is correct. Well, young George. So in the movie, you see George at I think 12 years old.
Yeah, right.
And then you see him go from 20 to 30 something. So, but I will inhabit all aspects of George's life from 12 to 38.
But you were playing one character, and Julia, you were only playing one as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, I just
Okay.
play Mary Bailey.
Yes. So you
Well,
were
and the
Mary
young-
Hatch.
Yes, Mary Hatch, formerly.
You're the young one when
yeah.
she whispers in his ears, "I'm gonna marry
Yes,
George
that's my favorite scene.
Bailey." Violet, their friend Violet, who was even a tramp back then, wasn't
Adam.
she? Sorry. So we have Mary Hatch here. Yes, I mean, I'm sure, and we are younger people, right? Younger.
I'll take it.
Yes.
But, still, just like, I mean, this film has probably resonated with you, and you've seen
Oh,
it
yeah.
since a
I
child
grew up
as
with
well.
this film, yeah, and now me and my husband watch it every year, and you never get bored of it. You always look forward to watching it. It's a part of the holidays for us and our family now, and it's so heartwarming, and it makes you feel so good, and it's such a great message. So we're lucky to
It
do
makes
it.
you feel so good. Jeremy and I have had interesting conversations about this movie, about It's Wonderful. I love the movie, too. I think it's great. but we have interesting conversations on whether or not it's a Christmas movie or not.
Oh yeah.
We'll have that discussion a little bit later.
Yes.
But let's go to last but not least, Mr. Brian Panse here. You
Hello.
are not just playing one character,
No,
right?
I play Harry Bailey, George Bailey's brother. I also play him when he's young. And then, who else do I play? I play the cop. I play the police officer. I play.
That's Ernie, right?
No.
Nope.
No.
I play the
The one that arrests
get him
Violet.
the
Drake
arrests
when-
Violet
Oh,
Drake.
okay.
And then I'm also the guard, the bridge.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The bridge
I
keeper.
love
Oh,
that
yeah,
guy
with
that's like-
Clarence.
Yeah,
and
when-
home.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But I think my favorite is probably Binky the bouncer.
I play Binky the bouncer in Martinis.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's my favorite. That's my favorite.
Binky, throw these two out.
And you're doing
got it, boss.
and you're doing a lot of Foley work too.
I do. Yeah. So
You are the
That's his
master
big
of
part.
the
that's my
Foley.
yeah. I'm doing a lot
because
of
as a
Foley.
radio play, now some people know a radio is
What
a
does that mean,
device
Yes.
Adam?
that
Yeah.
people used to listen
don't know
to.
what
They
a
used to
radio
gather
is.
around
There's
on
a
their
couple
floors,
dials.
and turn it on their. It's like a
Before there was
podcast.
Spotify.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like a podcast.
And back in the olden days, I guess you could say, they would do shows like this.
That's right.
Put on performances of original stories, or something like War of the Worlds. It's a very famous radio
sure.
play that was done as well. And this was created. You know when this version was created?
What?
This by Joe Landry. This radio play version. See, I should have had my notes with it.
2005, I
But
want
it's
to
been
say.
very popular
Yes.
over the years with
Yes.
many theaters across the country.
Yes.
And brings that unique aspect, I think, that you're going to come into Farmers Alley Theater, and it's like going to be coming into a radio studio,
Yep,
right?
That's right.
Tell
In
me a
the
little bit
1940s.
about that.
So you walk in and you just you see the signage, you see the applause sign on air,
Yeah.
you see the table with all the Foley items like the shoes that you do the clip clop of the shoes, or
Yep.
like a door slamming. So everyone gets to see that. They'll sit down and they'll feel like
So they are kind of part of the show.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
you were doing like, as these actors, that that these people are in the audience.
Correct.
You're listening to this live broadcast
right.
of this show.
It's like
Very,
those TV
very
shows where it's like filmed before a live studio.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's that.
And they're in the 40s.
That's right.
Because you guys have like double
That's right.
acting, right?
That's
Because
right.
you're not
Yeah.
only playing George,
Yeah.
Mary,
That's
and Harry at all.
Right.
No, yeah.
We're all
Right.
actors.
Jeremy
Right.
Koch is actually playing Jake Lawrence, who then steps into the role of George
Right.
Bailey.
So what is different about that, or how does that enhance the show at all, or what kind of things are you doing?
It's kind of minimal, really, but it gives us an opportunity to walk in, kind of greet each other. You know, maybe I'm doing a thing where you owe me money from
Yeah.
a poker game we played last night. You know, we have just these little teeny moments, but it also gives us the chance to step out of the movie to Wonderful Life for a moment and sing some holiday music.
Right, this is like a multimedia experience.
That's
Folks are
right.
going to come
Yeah.
in here
That's
because
right.
we have the piano, Hal Hobson. We haven't even gotten to the other
rest of the
fantastic
cast,
members
right.
of our cast. Hal Hobson, who's been in many of our productions in the past. He's also a wonderful musician and piano player, and he's devised the music, or curated
He's
the music
composed
for.
music for underscoring,
Wow.
and he plays. There's like commercials, as if there was Bremel hair tonic, So there's like commercial breaks, which is actually where soap operas got their name. If you want to play a little trivia.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Because like a soap,
They
the
were the
Lifebuoy
sponsors,
soap would
right.
sponsor the TV program. So it was brought to you by. So it was like a soap opera. Anyway,
Yep.
he's composed that music, and he's also plays. We've added some holiday music to enhance and to make the audience enjoyment.
It's WFAT, Fat Radio.
Fat
Uh-huh.
Radio,
Kalamazoo.
Kalamazoo.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Just a small taste.
Yeah.
So, and
Just- we don't wanna
if
make it
folks
too good.
also don't know, what makes this special is that our seating arrangement is a little bit different.
Yes.
For the show, it's all cabaret seating. So all the seating are at tables.
Yeah.
You come in, you get dessert that's included in the ticket. You get coffee or hot
Grab a
chocolate that's
drink.
included.
It sounds really good right
Yeah,
now. Actually.
cocktails. It's
Yes.
this wonderful family holiday festive atmosphere in this cozy downtown. I tell you, it's our company, and I'm biased,
We're
I guess,
biased.
but I think it's a really unique, cool,
Oh, yeah.
Kind of putting us on the map a little bit. I
cozy
think
experience.
People have
Yeah.
loved
Yeah.
that from day one, and it's been something that they've looked
Yeah.
forward to. So.
Well, as I walked into the space today and saw where the tables are, those front tables, I mean, you are immersed in.
You're a part of the
you
show.
are a part of the show.
There's no audience participation.
No, there's no
Right,
audience
No, no.
participation. No, no,
Some
no.
people don't like that.
No audience participation. But it's, I mean, you are,
You're so close.
you're
that-
close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's just very intimate, and
Yeah.
it's nice to be that close and be a part of this radio show where we're on just 4 mics, and it just brings it's so simple. It brings the story to life more.
And
Yeah.
you have experience in this setting because this is not your first
do,
time
yes.
here.
I did Marvelous Wonderette's Dream On last
Another
year.
colon play. Marvelous
Yeah.
Wonderet's colon
Colon,
Dream On, and
yes.
now she's in
That's
It's a Wonderful
right.
Life
That's
colon
right.
a lively radio play.
That was
Yes.
all the music
Yeah.
of Aerosmith, right? Dream On.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you
No.
have the experience of
Yeah.
the holiday crowd in here.
Yes, and it's such a great crowd, and it's such a great setup, and it's so laid back and just super fun for the holidays.
Yeah.
It's
And
the
this will be
perfect
different
setup.
too because you were in our holiday shows, right? You were in the Frank
I did the
Sinatra
Frank
one.
Sinatra.
And were you ever in our December shows?
Oh, and Plaid Tidings.
No, this is
Plaid
so
Tidings,
like
right.
I assistant stage managed previous Christmas shows, but this is the first time that I've been in one of the Christmas shows. I've done.
Get ready.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, we are very excited to begin this journey. We're opening earlier than usual this
We
year.
are.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're opening a week before Thanksgiving.
The
We're
producers
crazy.
decided to try to run it a little longer, and I think it's going to pay off. It's selling really well, and we'll do 5 weekends instead. Sometimes we do 3 and extend for a 4th or 4th. And we're just going to do 5 up front, and maybe even extend for a 6th if it sells really well.
Yeah, we'll see. And in addition to, we mentioned the 3 of you, obviously,
Yes.
Hal Hobson. Who are the folks that round out the cast, this fabulous all-stars?
Well, speaking of Hal, I just want to say that in addition to Hal, we have Ron Centers plays evil Mr. Potter and many other characters. And Tim
Misunderstood, Mr. Pond.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Tim Eschelbach. So Hal, Ron, and Tim are all part of the All Ears theater company here in Kalamazoo, and so anyone who's familiar with that organization knows that they do this, multiple times throughout the year, and they do this this radio type atmosphere with the Foley. So
And not only that, these guys are like legends of like Kalamazoo theater.
Oh yeah.
I would say. I remember seeing Ron, Tim, and well, I guess Hal's gonna upset because
Yeah,
he's not as old as Ron or Tim.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Ron, I remember seeing shows that they were in with my mother back in the 80s,
Back in the day,
and
yeah.
early 90s. So these folks have been around forever. They are pros.
Oh, yeah.
They are
I
known
love
to
that.
local audiences, and as well as our rounding out the cast is Lori
Local
Moore.
legend Lori Moore.
Local legend Lori Moore.
She's so wonderful.
Who obviously has experience, a lot of experience in radio
Oh yeah.
and television.
Of course.
And she's playing George's
stage.
mother and
Everything
Violet
other
Bick.
than
Violet
Mary
Bick,
Patch and Mary Bick.
Zuzu, right? The
Zuzu.
good
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
So it's
Zuzu.
5 people
My
playing,
daughter.
right? 6 people playing all of these different
Yes,
parts.
Yeah.
yes. And
Over
then Hal
40
on
parts.
the piano
My
and
goodness.
playing Joseph, one of the head angel. Yeah, it's the 7 of us.
What do you think when people go see the show? What is your what do you want them to get out of it? Let me ask each of you. Get out of this experience. What is maybe going to be familiar to them? What is going to be different to them? What should they expect when they come to see It's a Wonderful Life: a live radio play?
I mean, like I think when they come to see it, obviously it's going to be, we're doing a little bit of a twist on it. It is not. I mean, it is actually. It's.
You're
the
not
same
coming in seeing Jimmy Stewart and
No.
Donna Reed
Right.
necessarily,
No,
but
you're seeing the same story. You're hearing the same story, I should say. You're seeing and hearing the same story. But you've got that twist of it's a 1946 radio broadcast. So I always remember when I was a kid, that iconic scene from Annie, the Boylan Sisters, NYC, and I was
sure.
always
When you think of radio shows, that's what I think of. Like
Yeah.
when they go to the radio, drop page.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And
That's kind of what this is.
and
Yeah.
it's what it
Yeah.
is. And like, with the person with with the shoes on their feet, walking across the table, that's what I'm doing and what Tim does. So I mean, you're still Julia said it, but I think that you're gonna come in. It's so intimate, it's so much fun. It's a holiday tradition. Families are gonna love it. It's just warm and cozy, and yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I'm just a stickler because I like my thing. I have an image of what certain like
You're a
movies are like,
traditionalist.
and
Yeah.
Right.
well, I just have it in my head. I have to open my mind.
That's right.
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 Well,
Opening
That's right.
minds, opening-
You'll
Farmer's
get your iconic lines.
Yeah.
You will get those precious parts of the movie that we all love and cherish, but we will make them our own and kind of mesh the two. So that will also be interesting to see also while seeing it come to life before you with all the sound effects.
But unfortunately, no swimming pool that opens up.
No swimming pool that everybody drops through. Nope.
No.
We thought about it. But
We'll see if we can
Which
put
it
that
still
together in the
exists,
next
you know
week.
that.
Does it?
It
Does
still
it
is
really?
in operation in Beverly Hills. It's Beverly Hills
No.
High School. And you
Wow.
can still go there. And I saw a video of it. Yeah, it's like they got a pool under there. They open up. It's still,
That's
they
really
do
cool.
still use it.
Whoa.
I think for me, it's that whole idea, to tie into our opening show of Camelot. It's a reimagined version, right? Every theater's storytelling, right? So we're going to tell this story, and we're just going to tell it in a different way. And I got a lot of comments. I heard a lot of people say after they saw Camelot that they loved it and they heard the story and they knew the story, but it was brought to different life. They heard it in a different way. It hit them in a different way. It was more impactful somehow. And that's what I want here, because when there's a movie so well, sometimes it just kind of, it doesn't maybe affect you or it doesn't phase you as much, and then you see it or you hear it in a different way.
You just kind of go into autopilot.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, but yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, at our last episode here, we talked a little bit about that, obviously, with the Camelot folks, and talked a little bit about what's going on in New York now with stuff like Oklahoma, that new Oklahoma that's so different.
Reimagined.
Reimagined.
And even
right.
to tie into Curious Incident, just using this gives you the feel of when you were a kid and you wanted to tell a story in a certain way, and you just want to, you grab this and you grab the Post-it notes and you make it a fan, like, and then I grab the fan.
You're doing like ASMR now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, we are.
But right, like, so it gives it that that childlike creativity feel to it, which is just, I think, super
playing.
fun.
Yeah, we're playing.
Yeah, it's fun to watch.
Well, I think folks are going to have a really great time. They can get their tickets by going online or call our box office, etc. We got a lot of options. 5 weekends of shows. I should mention we are proud, really quick, to receive support from our corporate sponsors for this production, including our season presenter, First National Bank of Michigan. We should have our First National Bank of Michigan mugs along with our PMN mugs here too. But also, my goodness, we have Dementon Marquardt PLC, a law firm, Sanford Financial Services, Schupan & Sons, Cahill Wealth Management, and Chemical Bank. All these local businesses supporting the arts, supporting the community and the theater. So we'd like to give them a shout out and thank them for their support.
Right, yeah, just like the soap company sponsoring these companies sponsor us and help us bring these.
Maybe
stories
they
to life,
will
so.
be featured in some
Perhaps.
radio ads.
You'll
on
have
the
to come and
show.
see.
You will have to.
Well, cool.
Yes.
I also want to thank, obviously, our director at the helm of this production, Sandra Bremer, who is pretty much a staple as our director for our December shows. She does such a great job.
Yeah, she does.
At creating this really, I think, creative atmosphere, a welcoming atmosphere, and you've worked with her more than once now, and so have you. So
Absolutely. And another well-known fixture in the community, and I mean, someone who had performed often back in the day.
she
And,
gets it. She has passion for
Oh,
the
yeah.
material, and she knows what she wants out of her performers, and she's a great asset. I'm so glad we have her. So, okay. Are you ready for some trivia?
We are.
Yeah.
You guys have
I'm a little
Post-its in
scared.
front of you because
I'm
I couldn't
scared.
find dry erase boards. So it is a visual element. So I'm going to give you some trivia questions. I only have a few. We'll see who is the master of It's a Wonderful Life, the movie trivia. All right, let's do something. Let's start. I don't know if this is an easy one, but let's start. Question number 1. In which ear does George lose his hearing? You only have 2 choices here, so which ear? Let's see. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pencils down. Jeremy, what do you say? His right. You say,
Right.
Julie says right,
Oh no,
and Brian says right.
Right.
no, it's
You
left.
are all incorrect.
It's left.
It is his
Stop it.
left ear.
It's left.
It is mentioned many times in the film, and you can see when Mr. Gower slaps him.
Yeah, that's what I just
He's like,
pictured
"Don't
in
hit
my
me,
head.
Mr. Potter."
I was
Uh,
going to picture you then.
I was picturing
smacks
him in
him
the,
on the left
in the
ear 'cause
drugstore
it's-
scene.
It's in the drugstore
and it's
scene.
the
we do.
left.
It is the left.
Oh,
Oh,
My
well-
brain changed my answer right at the last minute.
All right. Well, we're off to a great start here,
We're off
guys.
to a great
Okay. It's a close race. Anyone can win. Hold on. I got to write down Jeremy, Julia. All right. That question number 2. When Clarence was alive, what was his occupation?
Oh.
When Clarence was alive, the angel second class.
Right.
What was his occupation? Is this in the play? Maybe it's not in your version.
No, it's not, but
Uh-oh.
Ready?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, we'll go here.
I'm
Jeremy
just-
says clockmaker.
I'm
Julia
disqualified. I
says
don't have anything.
Julia says disqualified. Brian says
I said mailman.
was the postal service even around there? Jeremy, you were correct.
Yes.
It is
Clockmaker.
clockmaker.
We don't talk about that in the
No,
show.
No.
but
right?
I know the movie pretty well.
Oh.
I thought I did.
All right, I may skip this one unless there's a tie because this is one is really obscure.
I remember when they
We'll give
introduced
it
him
to
in the
Jeremy.
movie, and the one of the bigger angels is like, the clockmaker, and
Oh.
Yes,
not
yes.
him.
yes,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do
Here we
remember
go.
that. Okay.
but
This
he has a heart of
question-
a child or something like that.
This question here is worth 3 points
Whoa.
gosh.
because there are 3 answers.
Oh, wow.
What are the 3 things that George and Mary give the Martinis when they get their new home? Remember, they build them a new house and they
Julie better
drive
get
in
this
the
one.
car. And they get the new home and they drive up in a goat with a goat in the car or something
Yes,
like that.
Sure.
yes, they
I
pack
mean-
up the car, go.
Because I guess
I know
Frank
what I'd
Capra
say,
was
but I'm
from
not sure what you
Sicily.
say.
Frank Capra's family was from Sicily, and he kind of crafted the Martini family out of his own.
Oh.
And I guess does Capra mean goat or something like that? And that's why a goat is in the car when they
Oh.
go to the home.
So it's almost like he's making a cameo, a la Hitchcock.
I guess.
Oh.
All right, you have your answers.
I do. I know. she's
Jeremy
got this
says
too.
bread, salt, and wine. You say bread, salt, and wine.
I was trying to think
Brian,
of what you said, and I was hoping I would get
I don't know why.
you
I
didn't
couldn't
have
think
the
of-
lines.
No,
you
I
you just
said
were looking on your phone
I
when they were
said
rehearsing this
wine cheese soup.
That sounds really good,
stuff.
actually.
All food, wine, cheese, and soup. So Brian gets 1 point, and you guys get 3. Jeremy's still in the lead.
Oh.
Man.
Okay. Here's a good question. We all know that Uncle Billy has a pet raven, or the office has a pet raven
Yeah.
in the
Oh, right.
office. But another animal appears in his office throughout the course of the movie. Name that animal. He keeps a different animal. And it actually appears after, like, Jimmy Stewart almost beats him up, right, towards the end of the movie. Like, what does he say? You silly old man.
You stupid, silly
Oh,
old fool.
Nobody knows except Jeremy. Jeremy's an expert. Okay, ready?
I have a guess.
All right,
but
you have a guess.
I made it up.
Jeremy says squirrel.
It's a
You
squirrel.
say cat.
I couldn't think.
Jeremy's right.
A squirrel.
It's a squirrle, and it crawls,
It crawls
up to
in
him, and
it
it's like,
gives him a hug. It almost like
Yeah.
gives him a hug when he cries. He's like, well, it's not gonna. One of us is going to jail, and it's not gonna be me. And Jimmy
right.
Stewart storms out of the room, and Uncle Billy puts his head down, and the squirrel kind of goes on his shoulder, and is like, "It's okay, Uncle Billy."
Oh.
I do not remember.
I do not remember this.
all right. I guess this is okay. I only have 2 more.
Okay.
So here's one. What is the book that Clarence has and gives George at the end of the movie? What is the title of the book?
Oh.
He's reading it at the beginning.
Oh, come on,
Is
Julia.
it at the end?
Yeah,
Stop. Oh, yes. I like to speak aloud in my.
I
I'm
can't
ready.
remember.
Points for speed.
Oh my gosh.
I'm out.
Okay, Brian's out.
Fail.
They're both right. Tom Sawyer. Yes.
I was
The
gonna write Tom
Adventures of
Sawyer. I was gonna write Tom Sawyer, but I was like,
you didn't.
but I didn't.
All right.
And
Well,
that's when
Jeremy,
that's when Rush decided to make that big hit.
Jeremy, you've
I
run away
crushed.
with the game.
I crushed.
By 1 point.
Congratulations. I have one more question. What is Mr. Potter's first name?
Henry.
Wow. Yeah, see this
Henry
movie
F.
a lot.
Henry F. Potter.
F as in
Frank.
Footer.
Frank Footer.
Fool.
Well, that's good, Jeremy. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I am
Thank
glad you.
What
have
did I
won.
win, Johnny?
You win respect
Love it.
and
And a
admiration
hug.
from your
Love it.
castmates,
Yes.
and you can tell everyone. Did you know what It's a Wonderful Life was inspired by?
I do know this. Was it a Christmas card?
You are correct. Christmas
Wow.
card
Nice.
Oh.
called The Greatest Gift,
Yes.
which they mentioned in the opening speech. He's about to throw away his greatest gift.
Yes.
I did not know.
His life. The rights were bought for about $10,000 back in your early 40s, I guess, when they were making it, which is a lot of money today. That's a lot
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
writing.
Yeah.
They originally wanted Cary Grant and Jean Arthur to star
Whoa.
in the movie. Jimmy Stewart wasn't sure he could do the part because this is the first movie he did coming back from the war. And he was suffering from PTSD, I guess.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And you can see it in the movie a lot. Especially he was really nervous with the romantic scenes with Donna Reed, I think. And you can see that particularly. They didn't rehearse the kissing scene, I think, the first time they did it with the phone before they did it.
I remember someone not being sure if he could dig deep and do those, emotional scenes. And then was Rear Window before this?
It was after.
Oh,
it was
there
after.
was
But
something that
he didn't know he could do it because he wasn't sure. He was like, I don't even know if I want to do acting anymore because of what I've seen and done. And then Lionel Barrymore, who plays Mr. Potter, came. The story is it came up to him and say, what is better? I think is like saving, doing something for your country over there, or making all these people happy by acting now.
Oh yeah.
I can't. You have to look
Oh,
it up.
wow.
But Lionel Barrymore convinced him that it was okay and got him back into the
Fascinating.
movie.
Did not know that.
Do you know the iconic image on the poster, which we kind of recreated here in our post with George lifting Mary up? You know that never happens in the movie.
Right.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's just a fun fact I found. I already said the gym floor opens in the middle to reveal the swimming pool.
Yeah.
Ooh, I have trivia.
What's your trivia?
Who
Oh, I know
opens that floor and makes them fall in the water?
Oh, the friend, the guy who he disses, like,
But who-
I get away from
But
here.
why is that actor famous?
Oh, I know.
Oh, I don't know.
It's for
I do not know.
That's Alfalfa from The Little Rascals.
Really?
Yes, it is.
Whoa. That's cool.
Now, It's a Wonderful Life was obviously famously kind of like lost in time for many years, and was a flop at the box office.
Not a big hit.
Was overshadowed mainly by the movie The Best Years of Our Lives, which starred Frederick March and Myrna Loy, because both movies had similar themes. They had Oscar-worthy performances. Best Years of Our Lives did win Best Picture that year, along with 6 other Oscars, and opened 1 week before It's a Wonderful Life. So it's just one of those things that just kind of happened.
Yeah.
And just got lost in the shuffle of this film. But then famously, it was due to a clerical error, right? Due to a clerical error in 1974, the rights were not renewed, and it went into the public domain.
Yep.
So that's why every TV station picked it up and started playing it for the next 20
Over and
years
over and
until the
over.
rights were redone. And that's kind of what the cult following of the movie grew and grew and grew.
Wow.
Because TV stations would just play it all the time. Now only NBC plays it
NBC.
twice.
Interesting.
They have the rights.
And I still cry.
I wonder if
every
there's
single
another
time.
way
I do
to watch the movie.
I
other
tell you,
than
you get that
NBC.
lump in your throat and that all the anxiety
Oh,
comes up.
every time.
I don't know.
Every time. When
There's-
everybody comes running in at the very end, when he's like, Harry, and everybody's dumping the money,
Oh, yeah.
and they're coming in, and, the martini, and,
It's your. It's
All I say is, where have you
Tears.
to
been?
my brother George, the richest man in
Man in
town,
town.
gets me every time.
I cry every single
And
Christmas
the
Eve.
Gower and young
Me too.
George scene when he
You
smacks
know-
him in the ear.
you know-
I cry every year.
Harry, too little, too late. All right, you had
Yeah.
you
Harry.
coming back. You had the promise that you were going to come back and take over the business
I
after, and then you had to go and get married and just whatever, George.
you've been what do I say?
down
You're
the-
holding down the bag for 4 years now. I won't let you down.
Now you say my favorite line in the movie is what Mary says to her mother. Is that in the Alive Radio play?
Which which line?
When George comes over to the house and the mother says, "What are you doing? Why did
Oh,
you come call?"
He's making violent love to me, Mother.
Yeah.
Scandalous. Scandalous.
That is pretty bold that she
Yes,
says
it
that.
is.
though.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When I first saw that again, and I watched it again a couple years ago, and I didn't remember that. I was like, "Holy cow!"
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's
getting
pretty bold.
Donna Reed. It's pretty. I like Donna.
Well, and then when
Oh.
when they're a Buffalo gal, they're coming home from after falling in the pool.
Right.
And she gets caught on a bush and loses her robe. And George doesn't give it back right away. He's like, "Well, let's
Yeah,
see
man.
this is a very interesting situation."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's naked in the bush.
Now he's harassing her.
Yeah.
Me too, man.
But that's not in that's not in this version.
Mm-mm.
No.
No. We sing Buffalo Gals though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
we do a
yeah,
pretty good job.
Yeah.
Just a couple of other fun facts. Uncle Billy, cinema's doormat, Uncle Billy.
Yeah.
Who's Uncle Billy? Do you? Who's
I
Uncle
don't play
Billy?
Uncle
It's
Billy.
Ron Sanderson.
Ron.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
Uncle Billy loses the $8,000.
He does.
Yeah.
Why they give him the $8,000 to go deposit?
Well, it
There's many
seems
other
like
people in that office.
The bank teller recognized him, like, hey, you want to make a deposit? So I get the idea from the movie that he makes a lot of the deposits, and it's
Right.
like, why are they trusting Uncle Billy to make the
But
deposit?
all
should
I'm
know.
saying is that
You can't
$8,000, today is worth $105,000. Yes,
Yeah,
I did
that's
the
what we said.
calculations
Mhm.
on the internet.
Yeah.
Also, Mr. Potter offers George a job. And he goes to the job
Yeah.
and he says, "I'll give you a $20,000 salary."
Yep.
That's like $300,000.
Yeah,
That's
that's.
I don't know,
lot.
man.
Yeah.
Is he that bad?
Yeah. He is.
Why would you turn that down?
You have a
Because
family.
You can't.
You want to tell Zuzu that?
You have no ethics. You have no morals.
I want my
You're
nice
just gonna
dresses.
Work for.
You gotta leave that at the door, man. He's gonna be dead soon, Mr. Potter. He's
Yeah.
an old guy.
I'll take the $300,000.
Oh,
Ooh, no way, man. No way.
Brian sells out.
I sell out.
My last fun fact: 42 bells ring in the movie.
Oh.
So every time you watch "It's a Wonderful Life," 42 angels get their wings.
Wow.
Oh, I
man.
like that.
There you go.
And everybody else that watches it.
So there should be like a plethora of angels out
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
There- yeah.
There's probably one couple in here right now.
Well, that's some fun info. There's tons of other stuff too.
Oh,
It's
I
really
love
great.
it.
And there's tons of other podcasts that talk about this movie. It's certainly one of my favorite Christmas movies. I love A Christmas Story too. I wanted to ask what
too.
your favorite is. It's a Wonderful Life. That's your favorite Christmas movie?
It is. I mean, if I just had to pick one, I would say just because we're doing this play version of the movie, so to pick a different movie other than It's a Wonderful Life.
All right. If it wasn't It's a Wonderful Life,
Right,
what is your favorite
right.
Christmas movie?
I do love Christmas Story, but what I was thinking earlier was I was going to talk about what a musical theater nerd I am, and I do have I am partial to the Albert Finney Scrooge.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I've never seen
there's you should. There's it's basically like Scrooge for musical theater nerds.
Yeah.
There's all these songs and dances, and I think Albert Finney's great, and
Yeah.
so that's the one I'm probably
What about
next
you,
most
Julie?
partial to.
Oh yeah, well, fellow theater nerd over here, Holiday Inn and White Christmas.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I just love
good
those
stuff.
films, and so does my husband. So we watch
That's
that
good
along
stuff.
with Wonderful Life.
That's good stuff. What about the Finney Scrooge? You got that one too?
You know what? I've never seen it.
That's two. Have you seen the
I've
Albert
seen it.
Finney Scrooge?
I've seen it.
All right, so two.
But
of us have seen
I'm a fan of the I believe it was 1984, the George C. Scott, the version of A Christmas Carol.
Oh.
The one
It's good.
That's I love that one. Also have to watch it every year. National Lampoon's Christmas
course.
Vacation. Christmas Vacation.
And one of my
That's-
favorite
I love
is
Scrooge with
Scrooge.
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray. That's
Oh,
amazing in
yeah.
that movie.
That is
That is
that's
good.
another
Guess
good
who
one.
plays Jacob Marley in the Albert Finney Scrooge? Sir Alec Guinness.
Yeah.
Oh,
So take that.
you'll be visited by 3 Jedis
Yes.
tonight.
Yes.
Wait, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. It's Alligators.
I had a brain lapse. I'm like,
Yeah.
am I
Christmas
right about what I
Vacation.
just
Yep,
said?
that's definitely up there. So now those are definitely all Christmas movies. I'm going to leave you guys today. We'll just have one little conversation. I think we have these a lot in the office and talk about it a lot. When we decided to do It's a Wonderful Life, I said, well, It's a Wonderful Life is not really a Christmas movie.
Oh boy.
The only reason it's a Christmas movie is because it got into the public domain. It takes like an hour and 40 minutes to get to Christmas in this movie.
It's true.
Correct.
It is true.
Yeah.
So what? I mean,
And
what-
if this whole thing took place on 4th of July, would we be watching, Happy 4th of July, movie house?
but what constitutes a Christmas movie? What if there's a movie that takes place on Christmas Day but doesn't have the spirit of Christmas?
Right.
Does that mean it's a Christmas movie?
I don't know.
Right.
Is Nightmare Before Christmas a Halloween?
Uh-huh.
Is it a Halloween movie
That's
or is
right.
it a Christmas movie?
That's right.
That's true.
Exactly.
What do you
It's
think?
true. I think it's a Christmas movie. It's the spirit of
It's
giving.
the spirit.
And
I agree. Yeah.
All right, let's
It's-
go. Let's try it. Go around the room here. I'm going to name some movies. I want you to tell me if it's a Christmas movie, if it's not a Christmas movie.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's start with you this time, Brian.
Okay.
All right. This is a movie that's on everybody's list usually when we have this discussion. Die Hard. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you say?
No.
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 You say no. But ho ho ho! I have a machine gun. It's the spirit of giving.
There are elements of Christmas. There are Christmas themes.
But Christmas permeates throughout the whole thing. There's jingle bells in the score.
Sure.
It ends with "Let It Snow."
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure,
know?
but I mean, has he learned something
Yes.
about the spirit
Family
of
is
Christmas?
important.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually
wife.
had a whole
wife.
argument with my husband about this. Exactly. He thinks it is, hands down. I'm like, no.
I agree with
no.
you, David.
All right.
David,
Um,
we're on the same page.
Home Alone.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, hands down.
Oh,
I don't know.
no. You have to.
I don't know.
You don't think
Let's
so?
talk about the spirit of
I get well the
the
spirit,
season
but the whole movie
by
is based. But
brutally
the whole,
torturing two men.
No. Right. The whole movie is based on the idea that a family could leave for a long trip and forget one of their children.
But he learns that it's what
That
the
to
family is
torture
important.
two
No.
men, and then he
Well, there's
learns
that.
about how much he misses his family.
Exactly.
No.
And what's
it's
his
not
name?
a Christmas movie.
Old man.
Old man, the guy who stuffed dead bodies
is
into the
in
trash can.
cans, and then he bangs him on the face with the shovel.
Yes.
Let's get you home. And that's what he says at the very end. And he
That part is Christmas.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Gremlins.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Haven't seen it.
No.
Wow.
You've never seen Gremlins?
No.
Oh.
That's all right.
No.
You
that's-
say no either?
That's not a Christmas movie.
But it's like a very black Christmas movie.
Yeah, it's a
But
very.
what spirit
The
of
whole story about
generosity
Phoebe
and
Cates
family and-
telling about her father dying
Yeah.
by being Santa and getting stuck in the chimney.
Yeah.
right? So like,
Oh, you
what's
have
that
to watch
Arnold
this.
Schwarzenegger
Okay,
movie
okay.
with the
Jingle all
All
the
the
way.
Way.
Is that a Christmas movie?
I want a Turbo Man. Yes, of course. Come on. The spirit of giving.
I don't know, man. It's
Gremlins.
like, just
All right.
because it has.
Let's
know,
go.
Christmas
Let's go in
songs.
into the king of Christmas movies. Another Shane Black film, Iron Man 3. Ever seen Iron Man 3? Of
Never
course, you're
saw
not
it.
a superhero guy.
Yes.
Iron Man 3 takes place on Christmas. The whole movie. Christmas Iron Man. Probably not. I'm gonna say no.
I'm gonna go. I'm leaning
But
with
Shane
no.
Black with Lethal Weapon,
Yes.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. He has a tradition of, for some reason, putting all his films on Christmas.
Christmas.
Oh, that is true.
So a shared universe
That
there.
doesn't make it a Christmas movie.
Okay. Final movie we will leave you with.
Oh boy.
Eyes Wide Shut. Is it a Christmas movie?
Oh
no.
No.
It takes place on Christmas?
No.
Have you seen Eyes Wide Shut, Julie? Oh, no.
No.
You know what I'm talking about. That was a Tom Cruise,
Cruise.
Nicole
Yeah.
Kidman,
Yeah.
Stanley Kubrick.
That is not a Christmas movie.
But it's a spirit of giving in that
Oh.
movie.
Yeah.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
No.
All right, so you win that. You guys win that conversation.
Yay.
Christmas movies or not. Well, I think that's all the time that we have allotted here in this wonderful studio. I want to thank Public Media Network for providing this wonderful venue for us to have this
Yes.
conversation.
Thanks.
I want to
Absolutely.
thank Matt, our producer and technician over here.
Thank you,
And
Matt.
I want to thank our guests, Jeremy Koch, Julia Burrows, and Brian Panse.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, It's a Wonderful Life, a live radio play, runs November 22nd through December 22nd. There's 18 performances already out there. There may be more, folks. You're going to have a great time if you come to the theater and have this great holiday experience with us. We hope to see you there soon. Well, that's going to do it for us, folks. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for
Hope
Come
your
see it.
rehearsals go well, and
Oh,
we will
yes.
see you soon at the theater. Thank you.